out inside my head. Before I reached 30, I'd be dead. But somehow on and on I go. I keep on rolling with the flow.
Howdy do. I am just winging it. Not so formal as before. There is the hits and there is the misses. Obviously, if you look at popcorn news, that is the misses. Lucky to get 10 views. But might as well say something. Why not? This is the United States. You can say what you think. Or supposedly you can. Well, the young people have got energy. And they're all fired up. Case in point, Paul Joseph Watson, who this within the past few hours has interviewed Lauren Southern under the title "Meet the Cute Blonde Who Hates Feminists."
Warriors. I'm going to show that video as she's talking about it. But Lauren, welcome to the show.
Hi, Paul. Thanks for having me.
So just to explain to the listeners what this event was, why you were there, and then tell us what happened.
Sure. I'll try to make it as short as possible. It's a bit of a long story, but we were supposed to have a speaker, Augustus Sol Invictus, come up to Vancouver. He's an interesting guy. Obviously, not a lot of people. There's mixed feelings about him, but either way, it was going to be a fascinating speech. And these anti-fascist protesters who are convinced he's a neo-Nazi with very little evidence called the place we were planning on having the speech and got it shut down at the Railway Club by harassing them until they shut down our event. And then because they had sent him threats online and were planning on having a violent protest against him, he was not allowed into the country. They actually stopped him at the border and told him, sorry, you cannot come into Canada because you'll just stir up trouble. And so we ended up just having a drinking night downtown, and all of these anti-fascist protesters had still shown up to around the area that we were in, wearing balaclavas, masks, covering their faces, all wearing black. And we kind of got into an argument about gender politics. And I guess I triggered them enough that someone came up behind me and poured what I believed to be pop over my face and hair, and I was like, oh my goodness. And then one of my friends is like, Lauren, that smells like piss. I think that might be piss. Plus these people had said they were planning on...
We can see the video now. They're playing the video. So was it ever determined what the substance was?
I do not always agree with Mr. Watson, but at least he's interesting. That's along the lines of it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, from Charles Dickens. You turn on the YouTube and it's great. You get all kinds of people. You get Paul Joseph Watson, you get Alex Jones. Those are the big names that people know. But Greg Hunter, he's got USA Watchdog, which has got some good financial information. So that's like the best of times. That before we were condemned to watch mainstream media, which, okay, maybe it's slick, but compare the slick mainstream with what you can find on YouTube, where maybe it's not so slick, but at least it's honest. At least these are like people you can understand. Is there any comfort to be found? We are in love. In love, what vanishes? What more is there to say? That's from paraphrasing William Butler Yeats. So it's nice to see the passion of these people you see on YouTube. But, well, I'm just like, I'm winding down, okay? I'm like, I may not look this way, but I'm 63 years old, which is not ancient maybe, but I'm winding down. I don't get all fired up like I used to, so I gotta say something or other. This is the United States, and you can say what you want, right? Things, sure, they're bad. Sure, you watch these crises erupting and you think, oh no, oh, things are horrible. But there is also good, too. Where 20, 30 years ago, you couldn't have turned on YouTube and watched these different people like you can now. 20, 30 years ago, you were condemned to watch mainstream news. And if you can remember back then, we were all hypnotized. We all thought that these people were telling us the truth. But now we're breaking free from that. So don't lose sight. Don't lose sight of the best of times. Also the worst of times. Not to be a Pollyanna. There's these people that I really, really can't stand used to always come up to me and say, ooh, but is the glass half empty? Or is the glass half full? Ah, there lies wisdom. But that breaks down at some point. Tell that to people who have just arrived at Auschwitz and are heading to the gas chambers. Tell them that, well, is the glass half empty? Is the glass half full? At some point, the Pollyanna approach breaks down. But that's not to say that there's not some good going on. And so, thank you, Mr. Watson, with whom I do not always agree, for at least having something to say that is your own, that nobody is telling you this is what you say, for at least being real, even though I don't always agree with you. Thank you for watching Popcorn News.
Walking with you when you're gone, but I want enough to get there on